With rising COVID numbers, a substitute teacher shortage, and the district already looking to enrollment for the next school year, there is a lot happening with Tulsa Public Schools. We've invited Superintendent Dr. Deborah to join us to talk about what's going on. Good morning.
Good morning, Leanne.
We'll get started with TPS enrollment. Just recent numbers coming out that we are now the largest school district in the state. What is your reaction to that?
Well, we're really pleased about that, mainly because it signals that our efforts to grow our enrollment have been worthwhile. It's been the Tulsa Public Schools district has been gradually getting smaller since I was a student here in the 70s, and we really took a big hit during the pandemic, and so we were really pleased that we actually rebounded. We got more than 1,000 students back in our schools. And we want our families to know that we are a district of choice. We are a district with many, many wonderful options for students, from our littlest students in pre-K all the way through high school. And so we're doing a lot to make sure that they know all about what we have to offer.
The enrollment is open now. Tell us about that.
Enrollment is open now. It goes through the second week of February, and families can enroll on their smartphone. But we also, though, want to make sure that they have lots and lots of support, both for the just logistical aspects of the process itself. So we're having in-person events. For example, we have one tonight at our Parent Resource Center at the Alcott Elementary School building. But we also want to make sure that they know what all their choices are. So for the next few Saturdays, starting Saturday the 22nd and then the 29th and then February 5th, we're having enrollment expos where we're going to have hubs that will have food and all kinds of other resources for families. And then there'll be buses that will take them to tours to different schools. And you don't have to take the bus. You can also drive your own car, but all of this information is available on our website. We just want to make this process, the process itself, but also the information families need, readily available for them.
Let's talk a little bit about COVID, because I know it has been a huge challenge for all the districts. And honestly, I want to get your reaction, because Secretary of Education Ryan Walters tweeted this week saying the first reaction should not be to shut down schools. It is the last resort. And he goes on to say, when administrators act out of fear. Now, you're an administrator. Are you acting out of fear?
Certainly not. My only reaction to that is I know that Tulsans know better. I know that Tulsans know that all of the school districts in the Tulsa area are doing everything we can to keep our schools open. We all have to make our own decision based on our own situation, and it is so excruciating that it's hard to imagine that someone would take an opportunity for political reasons to go after families and educators at such a difficult time. We are doing everything we can to keep our schools open and to keep our students in school in person. That means, yes, of course, people from this office, including me, including board members, substitute teaching, but the magnitude of it is hard for, I think, people to wrap their heads around. We are really struggling to keep our schools open, and it is teachers, it's teacher assistants, it's bus drivers, custodians, child nutrition, folks who work in our cafeterias, and more. It's just really hard, and so we are doing everything we can. We've had this week, we've had fewer than 20 of our schools in distance learning. And for us, that's really about 20% of our schools, a little more than 20% of our schools in distance learning. And we've kind of stayed steady at about there. And so we're going to keep as many of our schools open as possible. But I know for sure that our families know that we're working hard to do that.
Well, I know as the next few weeks unfold that you all will be facing those challenges with everything you have. I know the substitute teacher thing has to be, because that's a daily crisis for you guys. So I'm sure that if people are willing to volunteer to come in and help substitute, you would welcome that.
Oh, that would be amazing. And we do have parents and other community members who have done so, who take one day a week or one day a month or a couple days a semester to help us out. And it makes a huge difference. We also want to make sure that everyone in Tulsa is getting vaccinated. We have to protect ourselves, and we have to protect our littlest Tulsans who aren't able to get vaccinated yet. We have to protect our friends and our neighbors and our colleagues who have medical conditions that make them more vulnerable. We have to do everything we can to support one another and to protect our own families. So we're going to get vaccinated, wear our masks, wash our hands, watch our distance as best as possible, and we'll get through this surge. We will. This is likely to be a few weeks. We'll get through it, and then I'm confident it means we're going to look to a really strong spring.
Dr. Deborah Guest, thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks, Leanne.